All right, so I wanted to share this little thought that I had with you guys today. This morning I woke up at 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep beyond that, so I just said, let me get up and start my day. I got up, I had devotion, and then I had prayer. And then after that, I was like, okay, it's time to exercise. But I felt really tired and sluggish. But I knew that I still needed to exercise because it's the fifth law of health. And I needed to do that daily, but I felt so tired. Nevertheless, I got dressed for exercise, and that was around 5. I got dressed for exercise, or was it around 4:35? Yeah. Got dressed and I started to do a few movements. Usually when I'm exercising, I'll find a YouTube video and started to do a few movements and few sluggish movements. And then after a while, I felt like I had so much energy. I felt revived, alive. Didn't feel sluggish and dead anymore. And then I continued my exercise and I finished it. And then when I was finished, I started to think, but after a few minutes in exercise, I felt so much energized. And then I remembered what I learned in high school biology, that when there's a low supply of glucose in the bloodstream, you need glucose for energy. The pancreas releases glucagon, which is a hormone, and glucagon converts stored sugars, stored polysaccharides, into glucose, and that glucose goes into the bloodstream, and then you get energy. So I started to see that even though I did not have what I needed at the beginning to carry out my exercise, I still went ahead purely from the understanding or purely from obedience, knowing that I needed exercise. And I realized that that's how God works. Sometimes we are trying to overcome something in our life and we don't have the strength to begin with. But if we step forward in faith, step forward purely with a desire to obey the Lord, then He supplies what we need. And we can find that example in Mark chapter 2 with the man who was sick of palsy. And the Lord said to him, arise, take up thy bed and walk. And immediately he took up his bed and walked, even though he did not have the strength in his legs at that time. As a matter of fact, let's read it. So Mark chapter 2, beginning at verse 1. I'll skip through some verses. It says, and again he entered into Capernaum, and after some days it was noised that he was in the house. And straightway many gathered together, insomuch that there was no room to receive them, no, not so much as about the door. And he preached the word unto them. And they came unto him, bringing in one sick of palsy, which was born of 4. So the man could not walk. Right? And we go through, the scribes and Pharisees talking about Jesus' speaking blasphemies, etc., because he said to the man sick of palsy, son, thy sins be forgiven thee. Right. Now, verse 9 says, the Lord says, whether is it easier to say to the sick of the palsy, thy sins be forgiven thee, or to say, arise and take up thy bed and walk? But that ye may know that the Son of Man hath power on earth to forgive sins, he saith to the sick of the palsy, I say unto thee, arise, take up thy bed, and go thy way into thine house. And immediately he arose, took up the bed, and went forth before them all, insomuch that they were all amazed, and glorified God, saying, we never saw it in this fashion. So even though the man was crippled and he had no idea that he could walk. But simply because the Lord spoke the word, he obeyed, and as he immediately started to put in the effort to walk, he gained the strength. So it's the same thing for us. Whatever it is that you're praying about right now, right? And you don't see the help or the strength right now to begin with. But if you put forth that step, put forth that effort to to purely in obedience, purely with a desire to obey God, then as you start to move, you will get the strength and the energy. Same thing as in my exercise this morning, I felt so sluggish, but I knew that exercise was very important, and especially is exercise important in the morning before we have had anything to eat, because at that time we have to depend on hormones to stimulate energy, and that keeps our endocrine system, which is our hormonal system, that keeps it vigorous, and vibrant, that keeps it functioning, so that we can have a good hormonal balance. And especially if you're someone who is going through depression, maybe you are definitely running low on the hormone, was it serotonin? Yeah, the happy hormone. So it's good if you could revive your endocrine system to start producing that hormone, and you do that with exercise, especially in the morning. Light exercise, nothing heavy. The best exercise is walking, really. That's the best exercise. We don't need much more than that. It just depends on how long we walk. So if you can afford to walk an hour, great. If you can walk 45 minutes, half hour briskly, that will be wonderful. And you see the tremendous changes that it gives to your body, just simply by doing some morning exercises. So I just wanted to share that exercise is wonderful, and most importantly, we should remember that even though we don't see the strength to do what it is that we're asking the Lord for help to do, but if we step out by faith, then it is in putting forth that effort that we will get more and more strength. Okay? Alright, so have a wonderful day, and thank you. And also, I wanted to mention, for those women who are pregnant, or your body is relying heavily on your endocrine system right now. So it's especially important that you do some exercise in the morning. My friend that is pregnant, I hope you see this. Yeah, so have a great day, and thank you for watching. God bless.